During your time at Wake Forest-Rolesville Middle School, most of you have come to know Mr. Meyer. He is a strong advocate for you, your family, and has put forth tremendous effort trying to improve the community with his SOS Club and other outside activities. Please join me in welcoming Mr. Meyer to the podium.
Okay, everyone here? Is that good? Good morning, Wake Forest-Rolesville Middle School. I have to do that one more time. It's been 2 years. Anyway, I was thinking to myself how to prepare the speech today, and I thought to myself how many of these I've been to over the years. You go to graduation speeches and promotion speeches and celebration speeches, and one thing always lies true, and that is years later, I can't remember a thing the speaker ever said. So I thought to myself, what creative thing can I do so that hopefully years from now, you guys might remember at least one or two things I said to you as you left our middle school today. So we've been through a lot. We've been together since 6th grade, and we've talked about a lot. We've talked about the power of the individual. We've talked about the importance of teamwork. We have talked about how lucky we are to live in this country, where you have the opportunity to succeed or the opportunity to fail. And there are no guarantees. In fact, I saw one gentleman in uniform coming today who serves our country, and I want to give him a round of applause. Remember, if being successful involved no risk, then everyone would do it. It would be easy. So we've talked about the difference between educated and smart risk versus foolish risk. We've talked about being assertive, how to stick up for yourself, how to claim what is rightfully yours without getting in trouble. We've talked about all of these lessons. We've also talked about the importance of failure. Failure. I failed to say that word correctly, but we will move on. But we have talked about the importance of failure and what it can do for you, how it defines the very core. People look to see, how do they handle defeat? I mean, anytime there's a game play, how does the losing coach handle defeat? It says a lot about a person's character. People can handle failure in one of two ways. They can either decide they don't want to put themselves out there anymore because they don't want to experience the pain of failure. But then unfortunately things don't usually work out because they're not putting themselves in a position to succeed. The other option, of course, is to use the failure as motivation to do better next time. To say, you know what, I don't want to feel that again, so I'm going to go out there and I'm going to work harder to make sure that doesn't happen again. You guys may have to do this in high school next year, so it's normal to be a little nervous next year as you move on to the next step in your life. Sometimes I have to do this as well. There are times where I feel that I have failed as a guidance counselor. I feel like I had a bad session with a student. I feel I misread a situation. I got it wrong. I didn't provide the best counseling I could provide. That would bother me, and I would sometimes question my counseling skills. And then I would have to give myself permission to say, you know what, I made a mistake. I made a mistake, it was in good faith. I'm going to have to try to do better next time to be a better counselor. So even myself, I have to remind myself of this from time to time. So anyway, I said I wanted to do something that people would remember. So I want to shake things up a little bit here in this speech. And Mrs. Hanson sometimes says to me, I make her nervous because I think outside the box and she doesn't know what I'm going to say. All right? So, honest question. What former U.S. president failed in business, lost 7 elections, and had a nervous breakdown before he was ever elected president of our United States? Anyone know? Seriously, raise your hand if you know the answer. Anyone? Allie? Abraham Lincoln. Now, Allie took a risk today. How many people in this gym? She raised her hand and offered an answer that could have been incorrect. And if she would have been incorrect, she's right, by the way. The answer is Abraham Lincoln. All right? If she would have been wrong, I guarantee you some of the people who didn't raise their hand would have smirked. Sometimes you may meet people like that. They're very quick to laugh at others when they fail, but they won't put themselves out there where they also might have the opportunity of failing. So that was a risk that Allie took today. And sometimes risk pays off. So Allie, we have a picture of Abraham Lincoln. Come up and get it. And as a bonus, one of our greatest risk takers ever, Mr. George Washington. This past weekend, our planet lost one of the greatest teachers who made a huge impact on young lives. That's Coach John Wooden of UCLA. Won 10 national titles. 99 years old. What an awesome life. One of his favorite sayings was, the person who says that something cannot be done should never interrupt the one who's actually doing it. I think it's a great saying. The people out there taking risks and actually doing things are the things that are going to make change and bring success. I want to close my speech. I gave each of you something on your chair. It's an envelope for me. The first thing in there is, unfortunately, I missed picture day this year, and the only picture of me in your yearbook is Wacky Tacky Day. And I decided I talked to Miss Fields, I begged her, but I missed the deadline. I said, I really don't want the 8th graders to remember their counselor dressed like a buffoon. So I did include some pictures in there that emphasize working hard, playing hard, and sharing your passion with others. One of my passions is photography, so I put that in there for you all to take with you. The second picture, obviously I did not take. What is it? What's in the picture of? The Wright brothers' first flight. Right here in North Carolina. The reason I put that picture in there is how big of an invention was that? How much has that affected who we are today? How fast we can see family members? Tremendous. How many people are in that picture rooting them on, cheering their success? None. Nobody cared at the time. This is the reason I give you that picture. People thought they were crazy. Their first several planes crashed before they ever got off the ground. They could have said, hey, you know what, everyone's right. Maybe our idea is too dangerous. It's not going to work. And what the consequence would have been today if they would have just given up. So in closing, I give you that picture and I ask you to keep it with you. I ask you to use it when you need strength over the years ahead. When people criticize your dreams or criticize your ideas and tell you that you can't be what you want to be, or you're worried about what other people think about you, I want you to use that picture for strength. And remember, some of the greatest success stories, no one even knew they were a success when they first occurred. Remember, success involves risk. And the people who are really successful in life, trust me, they've experienced many mistakes and many failures before they experience the success. So our time together has come to an end. I ask you to keep in touch. I've included my email on the back of the card. If there's anything I can ever do for any of you, please shoot me a line. I'm only an email away. All the best, and our colleague Abdul will be saying on the basketball court next year, we will sustain you later. Now go get them, and one last time, Cougar Pride!
It's always very hard to follow Mr. Meyer. He's just so animated. I hate doing it, but good job, Mr. Meyer. Thank you. Take that message with you. Failure is not an option. Do not let people dictate where you can go or what you can be. Take that message from Mr. Meyer and take it with you in the high school. At this time, I would like to introduce our special guests for this morning. They have taken time out of their tremendously busy schedules